In this lecture, let us discuss about error guessing. Error guessing is a black box testing technique in software engineering that involves using experience, intuition, and knowledge of common pitfalls to identify potential areas where defects may exist. So it completely relies on testers' experience, intuition, and understanding of an application to find out where defects might occur. It's particularly useful when formal specifications are not available or when the tester has prior knowledge of similar systems. So instead of testing all possible inputs and conditions, so testers they can just use their knowledge or else past experiences in order to identify the error prone areas. We have few concepts here. First one is intuition and experience, where the testers draw on their prior experience with similar systems, common pitfalls, and known issues to guide their testing. Then common error prone patterns. So testers they usually look for areas in application where errors frequently occur. So errors can be like this, like input validation, boundary values, or unusual user behaviors. Next is exploratory testing. This is often used in conjunction with exploratory testing, where testers actively explore the application to find out defects. Then when to use this error guessing? So first thing is when you have limited documentation, say when specifications are incomplete or if they are not defined properly. So the requirement specification. So if they are not defined properly, there you can use this error guessing. Next, time constraints. Say if the tester is not having enough amount of time for testing completely, thorough testing, then also you can go with error guessing. And high risk areas. So sometimes we may contain some features which are most important to the application functionality. So those are considered as high risk areas. So there also you need to use error guessing. So these are few scenarios where you can use error guessing. First one is form validation. Say enter invalid data types into the fields in order to check whether it is predicting whether the system is able to identify the invalid data types or not, or whether it is generating any error or not if you provide the invalid data type. What is invalid data type here? Say instead of string, if you give numbers in the field, or else instead of some integer value, if you provide string. Say if it is an employee ID field, then in that case you should provide only integer value. If you give string for employee ID, it will generate an error, right? And leave required fields blank. Say if you leave some fields blank, so if they are represented with star especially, then also you should get an error. And submit forms with only white space. So if you try to submit the form without filling anything, then also system should guess that there is an error. Next, coming to this file upload functionality. Say sometimes while filling any applications, you need to upload your files. If you try to upload a file with unsupported format, say if they ask you to upload a PDF and if you try to upload doc file, then it generates an error. Or in case of PDF file, if you upload JPG images, then also it should generate error. Then test with very large files to check for size restrictions. So sometimes there will be size limit. Say if the size of the image, if it should be between 1 MB to 5 MB, there is some size, some constraint. And if you try to upload the file which is crossing this limit, say 10 MB, then it should produce error. So it generates an error, that is error guessing again. And try to upload empty files. So if the folder or file is not having anything and if you try to upload that, then also it should generate error. If you take mobile banking application, say you want to transfer money from your account to your friend's account, and if you enter the amount which is greater than the account balance, then it should generate an error, right? So here you can do that in order to check if the application prevents the transaction or not. So whether it is stopping the transaction or whether it is generating error or whether it is trying to transfer the money. And try entering a non-numeric character in the amount field. So amount should always be integer value. If you try to enter any non-numeric character, say some string, then also it should generate error. So you can check that in order to verify input validation and attempt to transfer funds to an invalid or non-existent account number. Say if the account number is invalid and if it is not existing, then if you try to transfer the funds, this app should prevent you. So it should not allow you to transfer the funds. So again, so all these kinds of errors can be identified or guessed by the tester by using his past experience. So we already know that these type of things they'll generate errors. So usually we don't do this, right? So if you take this file upload, we don't upload the file which crosses the restriction, or else we don't leave the fields blank. So if you take user ID and password for login, so if you try to click on this submit button without providing either of the two things, like say user ID or password, you just gave only one, then also it will generate error. Or else if you leave these two things blank and if you click on this submit, then also you'll get blank. So these type of errors can be identified easily based on our past experience.